day and welcome to this special Island Stat Sports Talk. I'm your host, Earl Basin. I'm joined by the beautiful, lovely Vanessa James. Well, Vanessa, you've decided to call time on your career. Just take us through that emotional part of deciding that's it.
It's always a big part of every athlete's career or journey or life to decide to stop the sport that they've been in and invested all their time and their energy and so many sacrifices in throughout the last 23 years. It would be for me. And so, it's kind of bittersweet sometimes. It's exciting to kind of see where this journey leads us, but it's also kind of scary because we've had a routine and a goal and an objective every single day for the last few years. So it is a little strange to really admit now, what am I going to do next? And I'm never going to be competing again, but I'm really, really optimistic. And I know that I have a place in figure skating, everywhere, whether it be in France or Canada or bringing some Bermudians on the ice. I'd love to. So I'm excited to see where my journey continues from here.
Sure. Being a woman of color in a sport that did not look that way, prior to you or prior to anyone else that started, but how has that journey been as a woman of color in figure skating?
I was actually very lucky to always have an idol or a figure that had some type of representation for me, whether it be Sergio Bonelli in France or my best friend, also my Bernice Mete. The French team, when I used to skate for France, was very diverse. We had a Brazilian, Florent Amadio. We had Algerian skater. Well, he's originally Algerian, Shafik Bezigier, myself, So it was always beautiful and comforting to see people of color at the highest level possible in figure skating. But even that is very rare. It's very, very rare. So I feel like I've been a trailblazer for so many young kids, so many athletes that have looked at sports and said, like figure skating, and said that sport is not for me. It's not welcoming. I don't see anyone that looks like me. Why would I do it? So even from simple things as tights, when you go to a pro shop, there weren't any pairs of tights that were my color, my shade, and things like that. And that's what is so off-putting for so many kids that want to learn. If they want to go in skating and they're not having the same color tights, as what their shade of color, their color, it makes you feel unwelcome. So I'm glad that, me being the only Black figure skater at the Olympics, that I made it, because at least one or two boys or girls can look at figure skating and say, there's a place for me. If she can do it, I can do it.
Being that you brought up tights, I've been watching and following your career for quite some time. The outfits, how do you come up with the designs? Who comes up with the designs? And because, it's all part of the routine, but the outfits that you've come up with of late have been so outstanding.
Definitely. I feel like that's always something that stood out about my skating, and what everyone loved about it too is that it was different. I looked different, my body was different, my skin was different, and my outfits were different, my music was different. And so I never wanted to conform to what skating is usually looked upon and looked like, and the very classical balletic type of style. I never did that. And same with my outfits. So in each skater and each team, it's very different. So it could be the kids that kind of give their preference or their opinions or their favorite colors. Some people have their coaches kind of say things like that. Some people have seamstresses that will give an idea. They'll listen to the music and give a sketch of a few different designs. I actually have a great designer, and she gives me a few different sketches. I'll give her some inspiration, and then we come up together with something that is spectacular. And then when I try it on, we, play with it and put little details on it and things like that. But I've been very, very lucky to have someone that, she also wants me to stand out. She also wants to, amplify the color of my skin and my shape to a T. So.
Mm. Now you've been under some extremely well known coaches and some of the routines that you're allowed to express yourself in. How do you work that in, especially with a coach that is renowned for taking chances, taking risks, having their skaters try to outdo everyone each and every time?
Well, I think that's where everyone has to kind of find the coach that works for them. It's not only in design or, being different, it's also a lot of mental, because at the end of the day, your coach is not going to teach you something new when you're at the competition. They're really just going to make you feel comfortable and confident and reassured. So it's a whole, it's a learning experience, because right off the bat, you're never going to feel like that with a new coach. You're going to be a little bit nervous. You have to kind of get to know each other, but you want to make sure that you find someone that has a similar understanding to the sport as you, and that they want you to be the best that you can be and not like anyone else.
Mm. You've battled a lot of injuries and so forth. The sport can be really tough at times, but there is a lot of excitement in the sport. Give us some of your highlight excitement things that you've been able to accomplish, on the ice.
Yeah, pair skating, I think they should put it in extreme sports, because it quite honestly is. We get thrown up, we do throws, we get caught, we do lifts. It's quite extreme, and you have to be very confident in yourself and your partner when you're a pair skater. So I actually have done a quad throw, which is really high. It's 4 turns in the air. My partner throws me, and I have to land on one foot. And there are only about 4 or 5 para teams in the world in all of figure skating that have accomplished this. And I did it in 2018 to the 2019 season. About in every single competition I skated in. So I was really, really proud of being one of the few to accomplish this element. And then the triple twist is something where you go up. I've fallen on it, where my partner threw me up, he fell, and then I started twisting and spiraling all the way down to the ice. So there are some bad spills. It's rare, I have to say. Out of the millions of times I've done it, it's only happened once where I've fallen or something like that, and you just have to get back up and try again. So it's a lot of confidence in yourself, for sure.
Sure. Now, figure skating is one of those things about expression, body language, facial expression, and all. One thing, when watching figure skating, you can always tell, or you could almost tell, when someone misses part of their routine, or they missed a spin, a jump, or something, because of that facial expression. How much, when you're training, do you keep reminding yourself not to react to what you've missed, but to continue on with the program?
Well, that's something that we learn from a young age, especially in our sport. I think, they probably do the same thing in piano. If you make a mistake, you don't go back from the beginning. You have to keep going. What's really hard, like you just said, in figure skating is that everyone is watching you. And if you fall, of course, you feel disappointed, or it hurt, or you're struggling to remember where you need to be and get there quick enough to be back on the music. But that's just part of the routine. So you have to practice falling. You have to practice failure in practice so that you can overcome it. And if it happens in competition, know how to deal with it. So it's a lot of practice, for sure. Of course, we're trying to express the music, and we have to look like we're not tired at all when we're dying and our legs are burning. Of course, it's all about being graceful and looking the part, but it does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of skill, a lot of time and practice to execute that in competition.
Yeah, I often watch whenever, after a routine and you're sitting on the couch waiting for the results. How
The
much?
kiss and cry. The
Yeah,
kiss and cry. Either kiss or you cry.
yeah. How much you're trying to catch your breath, because of so much energy being put into a routine. Now, when you would skate on a day, in what is it? One day you will have pairs. Trying to
Right,
remember.
pairs,
Yes.
discipline, or singles, or dance, or
Right.
men's. Is that,
And then the
yep.
next day you're doing another routine of sorts. So
Oh, right. Okay. Short
so
program
so
and a long program.
right, program and the long program. So after the first one, if you do the program first and you've
hmm
got the long program the next day, what are some of the things you do in between there to ensure that you show up for the next day, especially if you've done really, really well the program routine the first day?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, everyone is different. After a short program, it's not the longest program, but it is very intense. Everyone has the exact same elements. They have to be executed in 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and it's just really quick, back to back to back to back. It's really hard, even though it's not as long. Whereas the long program, you have time to breathe, a little bit of breaks. You can kind of play around with the elements a little different because it's not as intense as a short program. So the short program, a lot of people will just relax after, do a lot of stretching, maybe a little bit of a jog to make sure that the lactic acid is, being getting out of their legs and things like that, so that there's not too much of a buildup. Some people have like these little massage machines. We also have physios at competition, physiotherapists that make sure that they can help us drain, and we have to make sure we stay hydrated, have our electrolytes and things like that. But mostly it's definitely rest and making sure that we're in the mental state, because the preparation happens way before the competition. So if you're dying, that means you weren't well prepared. But we prepare ourselves for the next day, of course, but especially mentally. On a good day, it's great because you feel good and confident. But if you get too excited about the results, then you're not concentrated for the next day. And that has happened to me before. I've been in like first place. Yeah, my coaches, everyone was like, yes, we're going to kill it. And then all of a sudden, bad day, because we're not in a mental and emotional state to be prepared to compete, not just because we did our job the day before that we know we're going to do the next day. We have to prepare as if we've never done a competition prior to that. So after a bad day, sometimes most people actually skate better because they sit down, they reflect, they look at what went wrong and why it went wrong, and then they are prepared for the next day to attack. So it depends on each athlete and their team, but for the most part, we make sure that we're mentally prepared, focused, that we have the nutrients, the protein, the food, the fuel to make sure that we can get through the long program the next day.
What has driven Vanessa James throughout her career?
I have to say that one of my driving forces would be the fact that I'm a Black woman in a predominantly white sport, and the fact that there are so many young kids looking up to me that write to me and ask me like, I'm 11 years old and I'm just starting skating. Do you think I can do it? Yes, you can do it. I did it. I started late. Just the fact that there isn't representation, and I was always the one people were looking to make it, and to be somewhere at this level, one of the best athletes in the world as a Black woman starting out, in Bermuda that has no ice rinks, is extraordinary. I feel like I am basically one in a million. So it's really and I wanted to continue this after my career, is to show show Black kids that they don't have to exist in this sport, but they can excel in it too.
Now, you of late, the last few years, you've been taking part in I want to call it a fundraiser, but it's been where you've been with an actor and you're trying to. I can't
Is
remember the
it
name of it, but do
is it
you
with a
consider?
hockey player or?
Yes, 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 yes. Now, do you still consider yourself being open to take part in those type of things? Because they were a lot of fun. Although a lot of work, they were a lot of fun.
Definitely. I feel like the fact that I can skate with someone like a hockey player and teach them the skills and to have the confidence in someone new and within myself to be able to do these elements has made me a better skilled figure skater, to break things down, be able to articulate it to somebody else. It's been good for myself. It's good for my future if ever I want to be a coach. And yes, it's a lot of fun. It gets me out there, because in Battle of the Blades, we actually skated for a foundation, which was a hockey foundation. It's called Time to Dream, and
Yes.
it's to help raise funds and support Black hockey skaters, youth figure hockey skaters. So, it's all for a good cause. And again, people of color, whether it be figure skaters or hockey players or horseback riders or whatever it is, that when they see us and they see us accomplishing these things where they don't usually see themselves, it's just going to motivate people and our children and our youth to know and be confident that they can do whatever they put their mind to.
Sure. What would you want most people to remember Vanessa James about on the ice?
On the ice, that I was fierce. I was fierce competitor. I was fierce, in my costumes. I looked fierce. And that I was kind. I'm a good competitor, but I'm also a good support system for all of my competitors, which I think a lot of them know and thank me for in the long run.
What about off the ice?
Off the ice? I don't know. This is like really where my life has been, on the ice for the last 23 years since I've been 11 years old. So this is where I'm kind of learning who is Vanessa off the ice, right? But I don't know. I'm someone that likes to give back, so hopefully that's something that I can continue to do outside of skating.
Well, I know you are now taking a well-deserved vacation, and
Yes.
I don't want to hold you back anymore, because after 23 years in the sport, you deserve a vacation of sorts. And then
I appreciate it.
Do you have any idea of what it is Vanessa James will be doing next, or you just want to keep that a secret?
Oh no, well, there are a few things that are in progress. A few TV shows, a few shows, galas, and things like that with my partner. And I'm actually coaching in Germany for the next 2 weeks. So just a few things in preparation. I'm thinking about writing a book. So little things coming up here and there, but I'll keep you updated, and hopefully you guys will keep following me.
Definitely, definitely. Well, thank you very, very much for taking this time out and joining me here, and just giving a taste of what Vanessa James's ride in this sport has been like. And I want to wish you continued success in the endeavors that you have in the very near future and the future down the road. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you too.